the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Y'all punch the like button on your way in the building. Again, if you're new to the channel, let your friends and family members know about TDPHINSTALK. Oh, man, what a day. All right, man, we're coming up on the noon hour. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope you all are blessed. Again, punch that like button. What's up to the Mod Squad? I see y'all in the building already. Salute to all the members of the channel. Malachi Rhodes, Chad, Marshawn, Jose Cruz, Vivian in the house, Brandon Orr, Chef Jew. What's up with you, man? Moonlight Umbrian. Umbrian. I think I got that right. Cloud Life up in here. Clemente 3472. Man, Triple S Podcast. Real Ones Company. Ooh, hopefully I said that the right way. Man, I see y'all coming up in the building. Y'all bear with me 1 second because I don't know why I keep freezing up. I don't know if y'all noticed that. The thing it keeps freezing up. I don't know if that's what's going on with that. Y'all give me 1 second. The camera's gonna go out, but I'm gonna get it back on. All right. Y'all just bear with me. I gotta see what's going on with that. All right. Just 1 moment. Testing, testing. Can you hear me and see me now? Can you hear me and see me now? Yes or no in the comment section. Can you hear me now and can you see me now? Yes, there. Okay, cool. Hopefully that maintains. I don't know what's going on, but we'll figure it out. If it freezes again, y'all just bear with me, all right? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we want to talk about players that could be traded that we got to keep our eyes on, and we also want to talk about Tyreek Hill's trash talking with the Chiefs. But before we do, we got 150 people already in here. Again, please punch that like button. We like to start out with 100 likes. Go ahead and knock it out, get it out the way. Go ahead and get those likes up. Go ahead and get those likes up. What did Tyreek say? I'm gonna break it all down for y'all. Tyreek out here, man. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. I'll let y'all decide. I'll give you my thoughts on it. But he trash talking the Chiefs. And he's basically like he's selling tickets again. I don't know. We'll see. We'll start out with that. We'll start out with Tyreek. Basically, Tyreek Hill was on a podcast again, as he always is, talking, going in. And on the podcast, Tyreek Hill was basically talking to Chiefs fans and saying, man, when Miami go to Arrowhead, man, I'm a boy. Y'all gonna wish y'all didn't have to play me that game. I'm gonna give it everything and all type of stuff like that. I know all your signals. I know all your calls. Y'all in trouble. You better switch them up because I know them all and this and that. Just trash talking. Basically telling them I still love y'all, but when we come and play y'all, it's on and popping. I like that level of trash talk, especially when you back it up. I went on Twitter and I was just trolling, I ain't mean it. But to them, they think I do. I said that's the week where Tyreek's gonna turn on our quarterback. But anyway, he just basically went in, basically talking about what he was gonna do to them. And last time, we had somebody talking trash to a team, it was I think it was either Wilson or Moser, one of them against the 49ers, and that didn't go so well. But this is Tyreek Hill. Yeah, we played the Chiefs this year on the road, by the way. I just remember the last time we played the Chiefs. We made Patrick Mahomes turn the ball over 5 times, and we still lost. We made that team turn the ball over 5 times, and we still lost. Not only did we make them turn it over 5 times, we also put up over 30 points, and we lost. I don't know. You just gotta take that however it works for you. But this year it'll be very interesting. I hope that it turns out to be just one of those games where we dominate. That'll be a good look. I can't wait for the schedule to come out. I know we got some time before that happens, but I can't wait for the schedule to come out because I just need to see how these opponents are lined up. I'm so eager, man. I hate waiting. I hate the off season, y'all, man. I hate waiting. I be wanting football now. But hey, it is what it is. But yeah, that's what Tyreek said. It wasn't really much. I just wanted to cover that just so y'all know what was going on in Dolphin world. Also, Dolphins players that could be traded. I want to talk about that real quick. Why don't y'all name some Dolphin players in the comment section that y'all think could be traded? And I'll go over the ones that I have on my list and tell you why they could be traded. So here's your opportunity. Go ahead right now. Put it in the comment section. What Dolphin players do you think could be traded and why? Okay. We're going to break it down in just a moment. I got to know that schedule. Me too. I got to know it bad. I got Christian Wilkins. Yep. Cedric Wilson. Yep. Already got him on there. Rowe can't be traded because we don't even have him on the roster right now. Eric Rowe is a free agent. Anybody else? All right, so let me go over the players that I believe, the top 5 players that I believe could be traded. Okay. Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, Emmanuel Ogbah. Chance of trading Emmanuel Ogbah is not great only because of the contract. Emmanuel Ogbah is actually getting paid a very good annual salary. Now, let me go ahead and give you the details on his salary so that you'll understand what his cap hit and what everything is this year. Now, Emmanuel Ogbah is a guy who played well on the Flores' system, but as soon as he got his money last year, the beginning of last year was pretty bad. I mean, 9 or 10 games and absolutely was non-existent, but he got his money. The man literally got a 4-year, $65 million deal from us with $32 million guaranteed, which guaranteed him pretty much 2 years of the contract, guaranteed, okay? Now, this year, Emmanuel Ogbah is a $17 million cap hit. That's why there's like a 10% chance of trading him. Because $17 million of a cap hit, no one is going to want to pick up that contract, especially coming fresh off of an injury. And before that injury in those 9 games, didn't play well at all. Can Miami get lucky and find a team that's just trying to fill a roster because they tanking and they want to take on contracts, expiring contracts and things of that nature just to swap a draft pick? Possible, but it's very highly unlikely. But this is a guy that I feel like the Dolphins feel they can live without. And once again, we haven't had that conversation of Emmanuel Ogbah, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, who's starting. We haven't even had that conversation. Who's starting? Who's starting this year, ladies and gentlemen? Anybody want to take a crack at that? Anybody want to take a crack at who's going to be the starting lineup with a 4-down lineman, as Vic Fangio likes to run? That's the interesting part. Rashad said all 3, right? How? How, Rashad? How? How is all 3 going to start? Who's getting kicked on the inside? Someone said Phillips, Chubb, Wilkins, Zealer. So we're going to be pretty much be sitting $17 million on the bench to come in and rotate. Now, I'm not disputing with y'all. Phillips and Chubb will start. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But so what, we sitting $17 million on the bench? Just curious. Just curious about that. Now y'all said Bradley Chubb starting because of the big bucks. Well, that's what confuses me. See, that's the part right there. Bradley Chubb is starting because of the big bucks, but Bradley Chubb is only a $7.5 million cap hit this year. Bradley Chubb's big bucks don't kick in until next year. His big bucks don't kick in until next year. Now, here's the funny part of it. They better hope Bradley Chubb work out, because if you look at how the contract is organized, the way the contract is set up, they just basically locked themselves in with Bradley Chubb. He got $53 million in guarantees. This year is a $7.5 million cap hit because they restructured. Next year is $27 million. And they're going to be looking for cap space next year, so they're probably going to be looking to try to convert that too and keep kicking the can. But $27 million in cap next year. But that's going to be interesting for me. But I just feel like Emmanuel Ogbah is the oddball out only because they're looking to get off of his contract before anybody else's. It's very hard for me to envision Emmanuel Ogbah being on this roster after this year. But that's why an expiring contract, he could end up getting traded at least before the trade deadline potentially is an option as well. But it's going to be very hard to trade him because he hadn't been productive last year and he coming fresh off of an injury. Just bad business. I ain't gonna lie. I want to do some positive streams, but as you really break down this roster and this team and the contracts and the players and the X, Y, and Z, there's a lot of bad stuff. And like this is one of them. Emmanuel Ogbah, you give him a nice contract, and you may not get anything out of him for the 2 years that you guaranteed him. You may not get anything valuable out of him. It's just all over this roster, just errors like that. And it's so aggravating. Like, we just continue to fail. Samaj Taylor said Ogbah is going on the inside, TD. Well, I don't believe he is, Samaj. See, he goes on the inside when we do the 5 down lineman, and he goes as the D end. See, the way we ran it with Flores, when we had the 5 guys on the line, we tried to have a true nose in the middle, and what we did, we made the defensive ends Christian Wilkins and Emmanuel Ogbah. Then you had your edge guys like Phillips, and you see what I'm saying? That's what that was. But 4 down linemen, no, you can't sit in that middle like that. Ogbah ain't finna eat up in the middle like that. Ogbah not finna eat in the middle with a 4 down lineman. Set up. We'll have a small D line if Ogbah gets an interior job. You're gonna have Chubb, Phillips, Ogbah, and Christian. You actually got a small D line. You ain't got no weight pushing around other than Christian and Wilkins. You ain't got no anchors, because that ain't what Christian Wilkins technically is. So, you know, that's all I'm saying. And I think he'll be even less productive inside. Just my take. You know, and who knows? They might get creative, and that might be the secret sauce that we don't even realize that Fangio brings. I don't know. I just don't see it. But somebody ain't going to be on that field often like that. Raekwon kind of is. Yeah, kind of. But that's the problem. Raekwon never transformed into what we wanted him to, and now we're still holding out hope. No, TD, Chubb, and Phillips will stand up as outside linebackers. Well, that's going to be the interesting part. You could say they're going to stand up as outside linebackers, but that's not how Vic Fangio, well, that is how he runs his system, but as an outside linebacker for Vic Fangio, that's one of the 4 guys on the line. Go look at the system. Would you want Chubb and Phillips playing coverage all day? You want Chubb and Phillips in coverage? I know they the hybrid type guys, but both of those guys' specialty is going after the quarterback. And yeah, they will stand up, but once again, they will be the 4th guy on the line. That's how Fangio has it. Go look at Chubb. Go look at how Chubb played for Vic Fangio in the past. He's the linebacker on the edge, but he's the 4th guy. There ain't 4 down, and he's the linebacker. That ain't how he does it. He's the one guy like a regular defensive end, but technically but remember, that's the symptom of the underload. Fangio does an underload, not an overload. Weak side. He puts the guy on the weak side, and there's your Chubb on the weak side as the end. So we'll see. But again, they could always switch it up. You know, we don't know if Fangio say he working on some new schemes and this and that. That's going to be interesting. Let's go. Rashad said, nah, one will blitz. Think of it as when Chubb and Miller played it. No. See, it ain't a blitz if only 4 of you coming, and just because it's a linebacker. We can call it a blitz. Why? Because it's a linebacker coming. They're defensive ends with the role, the title of the outside linebacker. But they're defensive ends, okay? We can get all fancy in the new terminology and call them outside linebackers, but what is their primary role? The same as a defensive end. Same as a defensive end. So I'm just going off of what their role will actually be. So even in that event, if they're the outside linebacker, that means he's going to have 3 D linemen on the field. So, and yeah, you'll have plays where we put 5 on the line. I mean, there's the different packages. It depends on what he want to run in any specific game. I just feel like Fangio's going to come with one system, and the way our personnel is, it ain't going to work, and he's going to have to adjust and go to another. See, Fangio says, I want to blitz because I want to, not because I have to, but he can find out very soon that he still has to until he fully gets the personnel he wants. Time will tell. Time will tell. I don't know. I could be shocked, which I hope I am. Definitely hope I am. Next player that could be traded, ladies and gentlemen, Jerome Baker. Jerome Baker. Okay. Jerome Baker, I know this answer, but maybe what is Jerome Baker's position on his team? Can somebody help me and tell me what is Jerome Baker's position on the team? Jerome Baker restructured his contract. He will be a $7.5 million cap hit this year. And that restructure made them increase the dead cap because now he's a 12. Well, he's not. Oh, excuse me. Forgive me I was wrong. He restructured last year. He's actually a $12.5 million cap hit this year with $17 million dead cap. So their out on Jerome Baker is next year. They already got 2 voidable years on Jerome Baker contract, just so y'all know. Jerome Baker will be a Dolphin in 2025 and 2026, maybe not even 2024, but he'll be counting against our cap in 2024, 2025, and 2026. Jerome Baker will count against our cap for the next 4 years, and he may only play 1 more year. Just FYI. Even if we trade him, he will count against our cap for the next 4 years. Even if he's only with a trade, even if we trade him or he only played this year. And these are the symptoms of what I'm trying to tell y'all. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Jerome Baker is going to be taking up cap space when he's not on the roster. Emmanuel Ogbah is going to be taking up cap space when he ain't on the roster. And I could bring up 10 more contracts that will be taking up cap space even when they probably won't even be on the roster. This is why I'm telling y'all that 2025 and 2026, when the cap goes up, there's players that ain't even going to be on this roster eating all of that increase. Eating that increase. And this is why other teams will be able to have a better roster. This is what the Saints keep going through. They just keep building a team to try to compete. Not sure why. But at the same token, they just keep on running their debt deeper and deeper, and their roster keeps getting less and less productive. I don't like that approach. I'm going to be honest with y'all. In 2025 and 2026, if it looks as bad as the Saints been looking, I'd rather the Dolphins just do a hard reset. Just know that you're going to suck for 2 years, and then you got out of the mess. If we win a Super Bowl in 2023 or 2024. Otherwise, it's just, oh my gosh, the whole process failed. Nobody's going to admit this as a Dolphin fan. And nobody's going to adopt this philosophy. But ladies and gentlemen, if we don't win a Super Bowl in 2023 or 2024, the entire rebuild failed. And the only way you can get out of that failure status is the day you actually win it before you rebuild. But it would have failed because we're going for broke. We keep restructuring contracts and we're kicking the can down the road with the knowledge that we won't be that same team. We won't be able to afford a lot of what we have now in 25 and 26. We already know that. What a lot of people don't realize whenever it comes to these contracts is this big fact right here. Let's operate off of the fact that we have our franchise quarterback, whether that's Tua or anybody, but let's just say Tua. He becomes our franchise quarterback. He's that dude. It's like the most ridiculous thing of people walking around here talking that talk. No, Tua take a discount, Tua this and Tua that. If Tua becomes that dude, why would he take a discount? There's only one player that really has done that, and that's Tom Brady. And stop trying to think that Tua is going to be Tom Brady in that sense. We want to think Tua is going to do everything favorable, but Tua is going to get his money. So when the cap goes up and all this dead cap from players that ain't even on the roster no more eat the increase, and then when Tua go from 23 million all the way up to 43, 53, because think about it, 2 years from now when you got to give him a deal if he become the guy, 47 and 48 and 50 ain't even going to be the number. We're going to be, somebody might touch 60. So Tua could very easily hit 50, especially if Daniel Jones out here getting 45. If Daniel Jones getting 45, Tua could easily get 50 if he become that dude. But you'll be taking another $30 million off of the table, and you can't rely on the increase of salaries to make up for that because all the dead cap that we've accumulated. But you will be able to do things like this. Be like, hey, Teron Armstead isn't here anymore because he won't be after 2 years. That's highly likely that he won't. So we won't be eating that contract. But who's his replacement? Is the replacement even good? You see how this team could be like, and if you go get another great tackle, he going to cost more than Armstead because Armstead at the end of his career. The elite version of Teron Armstead makes about $8 million more than him, even more. Tyreek won't be on the roster anymore, highly unlikely. At that point, you'll have to move on, and you won't find another Tyreek. That's just not realistic. And if you do, you got to pay even more than 30 at that point. And what are the chances of that happening? The fact of the matter is, we have a once-in-a-lifetime team, ladies and gentlemen. We have a once-in-a-lifetime team right now. We have a once-in-a-lifetime specific targeted talent. That's why you got to take the full advantage of it these 2 years. You cannot play around with this and just feel like you could build on it every year. Because 9 times out of 10 in 2 years, you will not duplicate the level of talent. You might even have a better O-line, but you won't have a receiving core like you have now. You won't have the secondary you have now because 2 years from now, Xavier Howard won't be here either. 2 years from now, Jalen Ramsey may not be here either after 2 more seasons. All of these guys are at the end of their careers and or won't be here because of money. And 33 and 34 years old, many of them at that point, just not possible. But look at how many people you got to replace and hope that you can get somebody just as good. Do you replace an Xavier Howard just like that? Do you replace the Ramsey just like that? Do you replace Armstead just like that? Do you replace Tyreek just like that? All these guys, do you just replace them with a snap of a finger, throw your money out there, and you get somebody just as good or better? Not likely. Highly unlikely. And someone said that's what the draft is for. You never know what you get in the draft, but what are your chances of finding a Tyreek Hill this year in the draft from what we have as picks? Teron Armstead, Jalen Ramsey, or Xavier Howard. It's possible, but what are the odds? Slim to none. Yeah, but next year you can. Okay, look at how many people you have to start to bring in for replacement for next year. You got one first round pick and one second round pick. And what success have we truly had in the draft with picks past 10 anyway? How much success have we had in the draft with any picks past 10? You get the top 10, you feel good about it, and they still may not work out, but you feel good about it. What success have we had outside of the top 10? You might be able to name one or two, but I can name a slew of failures. A slew of them. Yeah. We found Holland. But again, if you can only point to 2 or 3 people on your roster, that's the problem. And then we're also pointing at guys who we still need them to reach their peak. If this is their peak, then that's an issue. I like where they are, but this can't be their peak. So contracts, man, it's a scary thing with the Dolphins long term. But we made the bed, we got to lay in it. I need a Super Bowl in the next 2 years. So Jerome Baker could get traded, but just like Emmanuel Ogbah, he did come off of a good season. I think Jerome Baker is way more tradable than Emmanuel Ogbah. I give Emmanuel Ogbah 10%. I give Jerome Baker more like 40%. Because the $12.5 million is still steep. But then you got the Dolphins that could potentially work deals like trade them but still pay some of the salary, swap draft picks, that type of deal where you still pay some of it but just not all of it. Things like that happen. But I still asked y'all at the beginning of this about Jerome Baker. What position does he play? What is Jerome Baker's position? Anybody? Somebody said middle linebacker. Somebody said outside linebacker. Off-ball linebacker. Here's the issue. We never ran a middle linebacker in Miami under Flores. You had a left inside and a right inside linebacker, and Jerome Baker was the right inside linebacker. David Long is now the left inside linebacker. And Channing Tindall is the backup to David Long. But this is what's interesting about it. Will Fangio run the same system in that regards? This is the interesting part. How will Fangio do it? Because how will he do it? Because what if he decides to go with the 3 linebackers and actually have a middle? Then who's going to play that position? I'm just curious. Very, very, very curious. Because we have Bradley Chubb listed as the right outside linebacker and Jalen Phillips as the left outside linebacker. And we got Emmanuel Ogbah on the depth chart listed as the defensive end behind Zach Zealer. At least that's what the depth chart has it as right now. I can't wait to see how we line this up, because it's going to be very interesting what we decide to do. Very interesting. But I will say Jerome Baker could get traded. He's tradable. He can help us save some money too, especially if we find somebody who wants him or willing to take on some of the contract. But Miami probably would have to pay a little bit of it, like one of those Tannehill deals, because we still paid some of Tannehill's contract when we traded him. Third player that could get traded. This is where it gets interesting. Cedric Wilson. Cedric Wilson could get traded. We already know that because the rumors came out that he's on the trade block. Oh my gosh. See, once again, y'all, another failure. Admitted failure by the Miami Dolphins. Another admitted failure immediately by the Miami Dolphins. You paid a guy for his potential versus what he's actually produced. You gave the man a 3-year, $22 million contract, and you guaranteed pretty much $13 million. Now, where are we with Cedric Wilson? Cedric Wilson is an $8 million cap hit and a $7 million dead cap this year. Now, if they cut him, because there's a chance that if they can't trade him, they could cut him at the camp. Now, they're eating $7 million in dead cap, which means that this year would be $3.5 million dead cap, and next year would be $3.5 million dead cap. This year and next year, they'll basically divide the $7 million dead cap up. Now, a move like that, though, when you think about it, if they choose to eat it, because they can just say, hey, we're going to cut him if he doesn't ball out in camp. If they cut him, technically that still saves us $4.5 million. But it's still the fact that you're eating $3.5 million this year and $3.5 million next year, once again, against the cap for a player who ain't even on the roster. Or he can be traded. Will somebody pick up the $8 million? Everybody like, Dallas, give us a call. Dallas, give us a call. Yeah, that's like wishful thinking. It could happen, but we like, Dallas, come get your problem back. Y'all like him. Y'all said y'all wish y'all didn't trade him. Now come get him. We're just hopeful that Chris Grier can figure that out and make it happen. This is the type of trade where, hey, you trade Cedric Wilson, and a trade is the best thing because you ain't got to eat none of this money. If you could trade him, I would be honest. If I were the Dolphins, I would even give up draft capital to trade him and save my $8 million. I would literally say, hey, I'll give you my 5th. Give me your 6th round pick, and take this contract for me. These are all options for the Dolphins. Yeah, we'll talk about the Mac Jones stuff later. So Cedric Wilson definitely so we got Emmanuel Ogbah that I put at about 10% chance. Baker I put at about 40, but Cedric Wilson I got at about 80% and a possibility that if you can't trade him that they will cut him in camp. He may not make the 53 unless they're like, we don't want to eat that little bit of dead cap. Or you eat this year and only have 1 million dead cap next year and just release him. Let him go. Just whether or not you want to eat it or not. All right. Now we're going to talk about two guys that could also be traded. And these are for different reasons. They're not bad players. They're not contracts we want to get off of because, you know, they're not serving us. These guys are definitely serving us. But they're going to cost money too. Number one, Zach Zealer. He could be traded. He's the cheaper option to keep on the team, but he wants his money. And his agent said, we're working hard with the Dolphins. You know, they want him here. It's just we got to figure out a contract. You know, we want his salary to match his production. And ladies and gentlemen, if his salary matches his production, he's getting paid. All this talk about Christian Wilkins, Zach Zealer is right there. You may put him a little under because, you know, where they were drafted, because first round picks always going to get more money. But he's there if we're talking about matching production. He's there. And that can be an issue. And I don't know if that's an issue that the Dolphins can afford. And there are a lot of contracts right now that have to be addressed. There are a lot of contracts that have to be addressed. And I don't know, where Chris Greer is on addressing them. When you go down the line, Christian Wilkins, Zach Zealer, Connor Williams has to be addressed. Waddle is coming up to being addressed. Well, hold on. Waddle, how many years Waddle did? 2 years so far? Oh, pulling the thing up? Oh, y'all give me 1 second. I need to help the wife real quick. Y'all going on a quick walk? All right, baby, you're good. She's strapped in. Appreciate y'all patience. Shout out to Theodore. I don't blame Greer for giving Wilson that money. It was before the Tyreek trade. Plans changed once we got Tyreek. That's fair. That's definitely fair. That's a good way to look at it. Can't knock that. But you still had an unproductive receiver regardless, though, at the end of the day. Now, right now, Zealer is like one of the most underpaid players in the NFL. This year, he has a cap hit of $3.2 million. He only getting about $2.9 million cash, though, you know, but he got a $3 million cap hit. Okay. He got bonuses too, by the way. That's locked in on here that I'm noticing. But here's the deal. Zealer's going to want his money and he's going to want it to go up. And I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm his agent, this is where it gets tricky. I don't see how the agent allows him to play 2023 without more guarantees and assurances in a new deal. Because he would be really risking it going into a new system with Vic Fangio. You don't know how he's going to do in this system. Like you got to look at it from an agent standpoint. We're about to have a different system. You thrived under the other one. Everybody did, but we don't know how this one's going to work out for you. And if I'm the agent, I want my guarantees now. Otherwise, trade my client and somebody will pay him. I cannot see how it's possible for an agent to allow him to play on his current contract, making peanuts. I just don't see how that's possible. That's not smart business. So his agent, obviously, they're working on a deal because his agent say he wants to make the money match. But Zealer could get traded, y'all, because his agent may be seeking money that another team would be willing to pay, but Miami may not. He could be seeking money from another team that they're willing to pay, and Miami's not. And I'm curious, do y'all feel like, do you think that the Miami Dolphins should sign him on a big long-term deal? And I'm going to be honest, in line with kind of what Ogbah got, which he's been more productive than Ogbah. Would you do that? Now, everybody's saying yes, but what the Dolphins are basically trying to, also, what I'm trying to say here is we have to pick and choose who we can give the money to and who we don't. And this is where, because we all know you can't pay everybody. We all know you can't pay everybody. You can't. You can't pay everybody. This is where the tough conversations happen. Tough conversations. And his money will be less than Christian Wilkins, but he'll still get the bag. Somebody said, what is his true market value? It's a great question. I'm not sure right now. I'm just going off of his production. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if we have it here. All right. According to Spotrac, again, and I think that they're undershooting it in this sense, they have his market value at 3-year, 30 million, pretty much 10 million a year. Now, but they also have him on here ranked like the 15th best defensive tackle. That's solely off of last year. But his agent ain't going off of his performance last year. His agent's going off of his performance the year before and last year. And that's where the issue comes. That's where the issue comes. And the reason why they have his market value there, because they're taking similar players to him and they're dividing what they're getting making right now. Like DJ Jones is making 10 million a year. Justin Jones is making 6 million a year. DJ Reader is making 13 million a year, and Dietrich Wise making 5.5, and they have it around the 10 million average. That's why they have the market value as what it is. But the reality is, he could easily be a guy, if you take the last 2 years, being the third rank, because last year his market value was 14 million as the third highest ranked defensive tackle. This year, being the 15th highest ranked, his value is 10 million. But again, an agent ain't going off of just this year. An agent's going off of last year and this year that just passed. But let me say this. We might be able to get away if Zealer loves the Dolphins and he want to do a team-friendly deal and they're willing to offer more guarantees. Maybe we can get away with a $10 million a year contract. It just may come with more guarantees. And that's friendly. That's friendly. I think it's friendly. Let me see how old he is compared to the rest of these guys. He's 27, so he would be the oldest one. So yeah, this will be his last chance to get a real bag, I believe, unless he's just all pro or something. So his agent's going to want to get as much as he can because he knows that this is the main bag right here. 27 years old, 27, 217 days. When the season starts, he's pretty much 28 years old. So yeah, he's going to want to get his first real bag as a pro. The life-changing bag. All of it should be life-changing, but y'all know what I mean. So far in his career, he's made a total of $7.7 million. But that's also 7 years, so $1 million a year. Take taxes out of that, the man getting about $600,000 a year. That's good money, but your lifestyle and everything, he never had a real bag. He's never had a real bag. NFL wise, you know what I mean? So his agent's going to try to help him get that real bag. So this will be an interesting one. But if it doesn't work out, he could be traded. And this is the type of guy that could get us a potential 4th round pick or something like that. 3rd, it would be a nice, but it depends on the team. How does incentives work against the cap? It's the same thing. You have to take that number against the cap. There's a certain amount you have to take against the cap. And what you could be doing is, if you playing that cap line, you could be making your cap worse for the next year. So Zach Zealer has a chance of being traded. Last person that I have on my list that has an opportunity to potentially be traded, obviously, is Christian Wilkins. Okay. Christian Wilkins is going to get a big bag. Former 1st round pick. It's just how it works. Yeah, give me a second. I'm bringing up the exact numbers of where he is right now. No way he only made $600K. I'm talking about per year after taxes. After all of that stuff, after everything comes out. Okay. All right, so this will be the first year. Well, Christian Wilkins this year is about to make almost $11 million. That's his 5th year option. That's Miami's 5th year option on him. Fully guaranteed. He's getting almost 11 mil this year. He's about to double, a little bit more than double his normal salary. But he's gonna need his new deal. Now, giving Christian Wilkins his new deal can save us money on the cap this year if we wanted it to. But if we take that option, because what it will be is an extension. If we take that option, it makes the money worse down the road. So I would just keep it the way it is, or front load it even more. But I don't even think we got the money to do that. But he could be traded if they decide to stick with Zealer and they can't reach a fair deal with him. Let me give you Christian Wilkins' market value right now. I don't know if they're gonna have it low or not. They'll probably have it at 13. They always shoot low on here. So Christian Wilkins' market value right now, according to Spotrac, being the 10th ranked defensive end, is $15.3 million. In other words, he's going to get. I mean, this man might be touching. If the Dolphins are lucky, we'll get away with 17 mil. We'll get away with 17 million if we're lucky. Guys that are similar to him right now, like Jonathan Allen, Vita Vea, Grady Jarrett, DeMarcus Lawrence, all those guys average like 17 million right now. And those are the guys that they have on here comparable to him. That's not even the top. That ain't even the top of the list. If you get to the top of the list, guys, then that value is going to go up big time. Big time. Who is the best defensive tackle in the league, in y'all opinion? A trade now for who? Aaron Darnold. Let me just put him in because I want to see what they have his market value as. And he ain't Aaron Donald, but I'm just saying. I want to do this to see what his Aaron Darnold making 27 million this year. We definitely better not be in that range. Oh, he don't have a market value because he's currently in on his current contract. So they won't put a market value. And they got him number 1. Who else? Who's up there with Aaron Darnold that I could pull up potentially? Who's up there with him? Aaron Darnold number 1. Who y'all got like number 2 or number 3? Somebody said Chris Jones. That's interesting. Yeah, see, this is the problem. So Chris Jones, right? He's up for a new deal too. So he has a market value. It's pulling up now. Man, I just hope this thing don't say over 25. Because that'll tell you what the market is heading to. What his Jesus. The market value on Chris Jones right now is $30 million flat. 30 million flat. And I get it because last year he made 29.5 million, and now he's up for a new contract because this year he makes 28 million. So he wants his new deal. And he 28. He about to get his last bag. Jeffrey Simmons. We'll pull that up. All right, Jeffrey Simmons. All right, defensive tackle, Tennessee. Yep, his contract is due after this year too, and he's just like Christian Wilkins. He's on a 5th-year option. He's on a 5th-year option, and his market value is 26.1. He's the number 2 ranked D tackle. Christian Wilkins might touch 20, y'all. Oh my gosh. He might touch 20 million, y'all. But yeah, so that's where we are with it. Christian Wilkins could get traded as well if we can't come up with a deal that's favorable for us. But these are those, man. It's gonna be interesting to see how we able to manage this stuff. And what I think will happen is we'll re-sign everybody, but we're gonna kick these people money to kick in 25 and 26, locking that money up too. Ugh. Time will tell, y'all. Time will tell. Anyway, man, there you have it. Tyreek Hill trash talking the Chiefs, Miami Dolphins players that could be traded. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. We finally had a stream where we didn't talk about a specific somebody. So hopefully some of y'all got what you wanted, a stream without it. And we're gonna keep on doing more of these. All right. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Fins up no matter what. Time shall tell. But we're gonna continue on the QB rankings. Every chance we get, we're gonna do some of those with some upcoming streams. Also, we got to do player evaluations. Player and team evaluations, and we'll see where we are as a roster, who's overperforming, underperforming, or being fair. Okay, love y'all, appreciate y'all. Fins up no matter what. I will catch y'all soon. Peace. I am out.